Dead Rails is one of the biggest Roblox games to ever touch the platform. I mean, it averages well over 500,000 players at any given moment. In today's video, we are going to be going over the 10 stages of every Roblox Dead Rails player. Stay till the end because most don't even make it to stage 10. Starting with stage 1, the beginner. You're scrolling on Roblox and you see this game with like 300,000 players called Dead Rails. You decide to join the game and look around, and you notice the start reminds you of something similar. Maybe Dusty Trip or any other story game with the create lobby. You decide to create a lobby for yourself and join the game, and you finally enter, and you see that you have to sell the gold in front of you. So you sell the gold and buy the gold after you're told to, maybe buy a gun or extra coal, and then you start driving the train. You probably forgot about the newspapers in the start because you thought they were decorations. As you drive, you find the little hut and you notice there's zombie arms coming out of it. So you decide to walk over to it out of curiosity, and there's zombies that start attacking you. They do a lot of HP, and you decide to whip them with your shovel. You either get overwhelmed and die or keep playing because you survived by a tiny little margin. For the sake of the video, let's just say you're still playing. After eliminating all the zombies, you notice there are items on the ground. Naturally, as a greedy human, you go ahead and pick up all the items and bring them to your train. You also may or may not have known that the sack allows you to store 10 items, but you just dragged them over to your train. You keep driving the train until you lose all your items because you didn't know the weld feature existed, and then later on, you probably end up dying looting a house or something. Stage 2, the learner stage. After getting the hang of it, you go again. This time you got further than your first attempt, or maybe made it to the end and got surprised by bandit camp and died. This is exactly what happened to me. You also figure out sweet tips like being able to hit zombies to the wall and using your sack/welding abilities. In this stage, you most likely don't know the difference between all the different nights and get very scared when vampires teleport behind you in the middle of the night while you're driving. You also probably don't even know how to fight off the big black werewolves and avoid all big buildings full of zombies because you either died to one or you don't know how to raid them. And by big buildings, I mean stuff like the castle or the town. In this stage, you're looking for a win as much as possible and don't want to risk dying. Players in the stage most likely have no bonds, 0 to 1 wins, maybe a single class that's cheap, or just don't even know classes exist. The game right now is very fun, and you decide to search up some tips and tricks leading you into stage 3, the novice. You finally understand the fundamentals of the game. You may or may not have gotten a few bond challenges done on accident, like beating the game. You probably already know the newspaper method now and use it for protection or use them for fuel. You still don't know the best classes, buildings, or per se speedrunning strats, but you generally know what items do and how to beat the game properly. Not efficiently though. You may have encountered towns and finally told yourself to man up and get surprised, or women up, or whatever up, when you open the bank and get rich. In this stage, you most likely get your first few $100 and feel like you're on top of the world. You also probably end up getting your first win or two, maybe even 3. Generally, you'll find yourself being able to play the game comfortably without dying, and the main struggles of the stage are most likely boss battles like Nikola Tesla, or just not knowing how to get the electrocutioner gun and such. You probably stumbled upon the Tesla lab, looted it, and took the head for money, but if you ended up putting all the parts together, you probably got overwhelmed by the zombie and just ended up leaving. Stage 4, the advancing stage. You finally have a class, or classes. You most likely have Doctor and Vampire after the recent buff, and maybe a game pass. Most likely not. You've probably beat the game multiple times by now, maybe say 5, 10, give or take 2, and you also most likely know by now how to raid certain buildings, even solo on some of them. You most likely struggle to solo raid all of them, and you most likely also know how to use metal walls as a guard for the back of your train driver's seat. You most likely haven't got to beating Nikola Tesla just yet, but figured out you could sell his head for $250, or figured out how to get the electrocutioner and die to him in the end. In this stage, you most likely watched a lot of Dead Rail content, primarily tips and tricks from channels like Stevenson. Players in this stage are generally proficient and know what they're doing most of the time, pretty reliable of a person. Stage 5, the advanced stage. In this stage, you are far into the game. You most likely have like 10 to 25 wins, give or take 5, I don't know exactly, and are climbing for that sweet 100. Maybe not 100, but you get the point. So far, yet so close. That is the ultimate achievement. You most likely are using meta classes like Vamp and have a few other classes for fun. You most likely still don't have a game pass, except the plus 15 bundle, maybe, if you're rich. And in this stage, you probably went ahead and just had some fun messing around with the challenge board and doing some of the challenge. You most likely beat a good chunk of them, like beating the game and finding a unicorn, but you still haven't beat the harder challenges like Pacifist or so. You're still working to get there. Getting to the stage means you are a decorated and dedicated player. Number 6, the grinding stage. In this stage, life is all about grinding in Dead Rails. Okay, well, maybe not life. We're not there yet, but you get the point. In this stage, you are most likely trying to reach a goal or just grinding to, well, grind. You most likely want to be the best and you want to get tons of wins and most likely have a game pass or two at this point. In this stage, challenges are an activity you do for fun. Eliminate 200 zombies? Easy. Finished. Pacifist? Working on it. You most likely have a game pass by now, or well, not me because I'm a cheapskate, and can complete the game in under 45 minutes, maybe even under 30. You most likely have 25 or more wins, and you have the most wins in literally every lobby you join. Every time you're in, it's like you're on the Dragon Ball arc where they sat in Super Saiyan all day. The aura is insane. In this stage, the game may seem to get a bit boring and repetitive, but all in all, it's about grinding and you still sort of enjoy it. Stage 7, Purpose and Achievement. After finally getting that sweet 100 or so wins, give or take 30, I don't know, man, just put a big absurd number there, you feel very accomplished. You enter lobbies for the sake of spreading your Dead Railian aura. Everyone looks at you. They're even chatting about you. At this point, you probably got all the game passes and classes. Maybe you left some of the non-optimal classes behind. You most likely think you're the best. Sadly, you're not even a leaderboard player. And many, if not 90% of players don't even get to the stage. But wait till stage 10. It gets even crazier. Your search history on YouTube is probably speedrun guide for Dead Rails multiple times in this stage. Players in this stage are very rare. They know how to speedrun the game in under 25 minutes or less every time and can do that solo. They most likely have hundreds of bonds as well. In this stage, you look at the leaderboard and you notice you're so close yet so far to being on there. Still a very good achievement, but it spikes a fire you to keep going. Your motivation is renewed and it leads into stage 8, The Awakening. In this stage, you are so rich that you most likely have all the classes literally just for fun. You also may or may not have bug abuse to get wins, and you most likely have a minimum of 100 wins. Yes, 100. And are aiming for that sweet leaderboard position. Very, very close. There's one problem though. Players on the leaderboard are keeping pace to keep their spot. But at this stage, you will keep going. You're already so far. You literally have people playing with you just so you can stay alive to get those wins. You're also most likely using Conductor class just so you can finish the game faster. Your entire YouTube feed is just Dead Rails speedrunning guides. If you decide to keep going, well, you might make it to stage 9, The Crazy. This stage marks one last resolve to Robloxia as a whole. Your entire life is being the best Dead Railian. You are most likely top 10 on leaderboard and are so close. In this stage, you are most likely having upwards of 200 wins and decide to take things a step further. Players in this stage generally have a video out on the game by now as well. They also most likely don't play any other games or do really anything else for entertainment. This game is like your job until it hits. Stage 10, Realization. You finally made it near the top leaderboard. First place, third place, doesn't matter. You're near the top. You are the best Dead Railian. How do you feel? Do you feel accomplished? Well, in the end, it's most likely sorrow, because it was all about the journey and not the destination. If you've made it this far, you probably like my video, so you should probably subscribe. We're so close to 40K. Comment down what stage you're at below, and I'll be out.